Hi, I'm Bruce Brumbelow for Visible Assets. For today's demonstration, we're going to start off by showing you some of the tags that we use. To start off, for today's demonstration, we'll be using the still tag. It's attached to this piece of steel called an I-beam. And this still tag is specifically designed for use on steel, and it's tuned for it so that it gets better range when it's attached to steel. Here we have another still tag, and it's the same thing. It's designed for steel, so when it's attached to it, it gets better range. This one's just a different color and a different size. And here we have a personnel tag and an inventory tag. And while these aren't designed for steel like these are, if these are the size and shape you want in your application, they can also be designed for steel so that they get better range when they're attached to it. Today we're going to do a demonstration of how well RuBee works in steel environments. To demonstrate, we have a steel I-beam here, and attached to the front of this is a RuBee still tag. Here we have a Ranger antenna, which is powered by RuBee equipment and ran on a computer by a diagnostic application called Finder. As we hit go on that application, you can hear that dinging sound. That dinging sound represents successful reads of this tag by this antenna. So as we turn this here, you'll notice we still hear the dinging sound, even now, as the still is completely in between this tag and that antenna. This means that RuBee is volumetric and not directional, that the signal just simply passes through the still like it's not even there. And so we're still getting the reads from this tag. What we're going to do now is turn this back around a little bit here, and we'll move it away from the antenna. As we come out at a distance and turn the tag, you notice that the orientation and this distance here is not affecting it. We're still getting continuous reads as you hear that dinging sound. Now we'll move it out here to about 14 feet. And as we get here, you'll notice that there's a couple spaces in the dinging sounds. We're getting a couple misses of our reads. And what this means is that we've reached our maximum for this tag antenna combination. Different tags and different antenna combinations can make the distance a little longer or a little shorter depending on your needs. For our next demonstration, we're going to show you a little bit of our setup here. We're going to take our steel tag attached to the I-beam, and we're going to submerge it completely in water. And as we zoom in, what you'll see here is that the steel tag attached to the I-beam is completely surrounded by the water. No part of it is sticking out. For our next demonstration, we'll take the steel I-beam with the RuBee tag attached, and we've completely submerged it in water. What we'll do now is we'll start our antenna again. And as we'll do that, you hear that dinging sound. That means we're getting successful reads of our tag. And now we'll turn this sideways. And as we do this, we're taking our tag and completely separating it from the antenna by this piece of steel. So the steel is completely in between the antenna and this tag. And we're still getting reads, even though it's submerged in water and still separated here. So now, as we take this out, we'll move it away from our antenna. And as we're doing that, you'll notice that our orientation is changing. The tag's turning sideways, but it doesn't affect it. It still continues to read. So now we'll move it out here. You'll hear the dinging sound. And it starts to lessen a little bit as we get a few misses. But you'll notice that it's at the same range, about 12 to 14 feet, as it was when we started getting misses when it was just the still and not the water. What this shows here is that RuBee is not affected by water. That even though it's completely submerged, that there is no effect at all on the RuBee tag by water. For our next demonstration, we're going to take the steel tag on the I-beam again and place it inside a metal briefcase. We'll close up the briefcase. Now it's completely sealed. Now we'll turn this around here, and we'll turn on the antenna again. You hear that dinging sound. That means we're reading the tag inside the steel briefcase. Now we'll move this out. As we move this further out, you'll notice it's still dinging. It's still reading the tag inside. You notice we get to about here, and we start to lose a few reads. That means that we've reached about our maximum on here between this tag and the antenna. But you notice that even though it's completely sealed inside this steel briefcase, that the tag is still able to read because RuBee is volumetric and not directional. And this has been a demonstration of RuBee's Steel and Water and a production of Visible Assets.